Oh, yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, stand to your feet and make noise for Gresh Unleashed!
Let's go! When the club go around here, I'm a cactus. Bang, bang, gang, I don't owe you jack. When I'm in the ring, it's just me and my best friends. OC cutting no slack. Hollywood Miz, you can put me on the A-list. Gresh Unleashed, better put it on your playlist. Me and my fam be ballin' like the Bruce. Fight night, baby, hard hitting like Sheamus. Family first, yeah, it's bloodline business. Winning all the gold, look at how they witness. I was taught to be the greatest. 1,000 days I'm running, check out the book of Guinness. Coolin' with the baddies in the baddie section. Guarantee you they ain't jaded. Yellow, you baby face, I ain't feeling your gimmick. The fans think it's overrated. Brock Lesnar on the beast. Eat, sleep, flex, and repeat. Whole new swag with a price on the tag. Coming live from the west to the east. Better recognize on the mouthpiece. See the power level gotta increase. Bringing content on a daily. Feeling like Gresh Unleashed.
Greetings and salutations, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, non-binary pals, baby mamas, baby daddies, and everybody in between. Welcome back to the Gresh Unleashed podcast. This is episode 95 of the show that brings you the good vibes to the best of our abilities. Joining you as always is the voice that does the most, the purveyor of mischief, Gresh. And joining me as always is my main man, my right-hand man, the voice of the Unleashed anthem himself and the Prince of Botch, if you will, Mr. Hi-Lite. Real, what's good with you, brother? Got to get the hoodie on, you know.
Whoa. There we go. What's up, everybody? I don't know. I just felt like doing that.
This is a Monday ass Tuesday, I can tell you that.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
That's what it is. This is a Monday ass Tuesday. Like it's not the weekend, but you just need that escape for a bit before we go back into the reality of the real world. It's nothing too crazy.
For sure.
We usually try not to talk about politics on the show, but happy election day. I'm ready for y'all to stop texting my goddamn phone day.
Yeah, and I'm tired of hearing ads every podcast and or whatever else day. God.
Man. Why? This would be a good opener. Why, compared to 2020, did we get this many ads and text messages and flyers in the mail like this year?
Honestly, I don't remember enough to know. It seems like we did, but then it's 2020 and it was a weird year and a weird time for everybody. So you probably weren't really paying attention as much as you are now in terms of like if you were getting a whole bunch of ad spam messages about political election.
Yeah, because I'm like, dog, literally, I feel like I get like 15 text messages telling me the same thing. Some of them not even not even my name. So whoever had this phone number before I did, I'm getting some of your text messages. So whatever they sent to me times 10, because I'm getting two different people's text messages and mine. So my phone is blowing up. My phone ain't been this hot since ever. Because I don't get my number out.
See, this is probably why you're the smartest man in the world if you don't own a cell phone.
Buddy. But yeah, for those of you who are paying attention to the election, yeah, it's a close race again, like it was in 2020, and it's getting to that point where you're like, okay, what exactly are we doing here? But at the same time, I'm not losing sleep because I'm used to it. I'm used to this country being just divided. It's more divided than ever. And I'm not talking Twitter politicians. I'm not talking. I'm basically talking about actually paying attention to the news, paying attention to relatives, that are in office right now that are telling me what's going on. And I'm like, this is America, I guess.
Don't catch you slipping now.
Don't catch you slipping. But what
Mm-mm.
shouldn't catch you slipping though is that this is another episode of Gresh League's podcast. We trying to give you guys some escapism for the next 45 to an hour so that you can have some form of like, okay, let's try to take our mind off of whatever happens with the world. But the last thing I will say political wise is hopefully you guys exercise your right to vote, like truly, because when I voted, I had my nieces at mind. I had the future, my nephew, like literally all of my relatives are black, so you know for sure I had their future in mind because I'm not gonna be here forever. I'm not gonna be young forever. I'm thinking about the future. I'm not thinking about just the present. I'm thinking about the future. So when I voted early. I voted before the chaos of the fifth. But it's like if you just did not exercise your vote, I said this in 2020, I said this in 2016. If you just, and I'm not even talking about just the presidency. That's why I try not to get into politics because it's so much nuance that goes into voting. Because the voting doesn't stop at presidency. A lot of people assume that voting stops at presidencies. No, you have to pay attention to everything: Senate, House, state representatives, mayor, on et cetera, et cetera. It's like so many positions in the government that you have to pay attention to that a lot of people don't pay attention to and wonder why nothing really changes because the president is just the face of the country. They're not the final say. And a lot of people don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why we're not going to spend too much time talking politics, but that's just my 2 cents and my analysis from basically paying attention to everything that's going on. There's no right or wrong way to vote. It's your prerogative to vote, especially if you're black, and especially if you're from anywhere, but especially if you're from the South, because you know what our ancestors and our people in the past went through to make sure that we had a voice in this country. So all we could do is just don't try to get our anxiety up for the outcome. All I will say is if you don't have to get out tonight or tomorrow, like really pay attention. Really pay attention to your surroundings, as well as don't expect all the counts to be counted tonight. So if nothing gets concluded tonight, don't be up in arms. Usually it takes them multiple days to count the votes. Mainly because it's a lot more people in America than it was in 2020 and in 2016. So, yeah. But back to the show. What do you want to start? You want to start with Crown Jewel? Speaking of politics, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I guess we can start with Crown Jewel. Yeah, let's start with Crown Jewel.
Yeah, that's a nice way to chop it over the fan right quick. But yeah, Crown Jewel. What did you think about it overall? Like we had two, I guess you could say namesake champions crowned in the men and the women's, as well as the continuation of the Bloodline story, the Bloodline Civil War, if you will, the new Bloodline versus the OG Bloodline, and sprinkled in a bunch of other stuff. It was like I think it was like 3 or 4 matches that was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else was just vibes.
Yeah, I gotta agree with that, bro. Pretty solid show. I like the unpredictable factor it had in terms of outcome because most people probably looked at most of those matches and assumed they knew one outcome, but actually probably ended up being the opposite. So I thought that was pretty for that pretty decent show.
What you think about the the fallout from the Bloodline. Because we started off with the Bloodline match. It was the OG Bloodline, Roman Reigns, the Usos, and Jey came out by himself, so they're not really on the same page 100%. Versus the new Bloodline, and like we thought was going to happen at Bad Blood happened on this show. Roman Reigns got pinned by Solo Sikoa.
Yeah, it's like they listened to you and they went in reverse.
Yeah.
You know, we were saying that at Bad Blood. You were like, yeah, Roman's got to get pinned. Got to get pinned. Wrong.
They're like, nah, we're going to use this as a setup for Jimmy's return. But he's going, it's like, and I have a love-hate for that. Like, I love that we can't predict anything, but I hate that it's like, I feel like, do you feel like we reached that point where they're rushing this story?
I'm not really quite there just yet. But I do think they have to figure out what, it's getting a little all over the place just a little bit. But,
and I think that's what I mean by them rushing the story. Like, if it feels like, hey, we start off at point A, point B, point C, and now we're at point D. But we point E, but we skip D. So it's like it's a whole chapter. I feel like it's missing.
Yeah. Shoot, man, it's hard to really say, bro. That could be the wise man factor. It could just be a lot of different, it's almost like reverse storytelling now because the Sami element, it's like he's reproving himself, except with opposite brothers. And I'm like, wow. I mean, at least Sami addressed it, though. I do like how he reversed it. I'm not going through trial again. I'm not going to go prove myself all over again. Like, I've done this before. And Jimmy's playing Jay's role this time, when last time when they were heels, it was Jay playing Jimmy's role. Now they're baby faces, Jay's playing Jimmy's role. It's just like, oh my gosh. Like, yeah, it's like the story's being told in reverse here. Yeah, kind of intriguing, as a bloodline baby face. It's like, yeah, I heard a little something about a theory of like, what if Sami was the bad guy the entire time?
I want to hear this theory. That's the purpose of this show. I want to hear theories. I want to hear point of views. I want to hear everything. You already know I keep my head down and on the grind. So it's like if I want to hear everybody's point of view, and I want to get my rebuttal.
For sure. For the most part, everybody seems to be just. It seems like everybody's kind of like excited more so just because of how many different ways they can go with how they're telling the story so far. Because you still have the wise man out there. If Paul's kind of deciding to get back on TV, kind of thing, you still have that factor. There's a theory about, hey, what if Sami was like? I never saw the movie, but The Sixth Sense, where it's like, what if Sami was like that? Where it was like, oh my gosh, it was you the entire time, kind of thing. Like, what if he was that factor of like he was really, like wow, it was this easy to take this family down that quickly from the inside, kind of thing. Just little things like that. Especially with him being the outsider, if you will. And I guess if that were to be a case, I mean, that's tough because they did so well at building Sami as a babyface that I don't know how well that would work to suddenly just make him a heel all of a sudden because of everything that Jimmy. Because it's like, well, if you're doing this in reverse, that means now you're working Jimmy around to actually come back and trust Sami again. But then at the same time, if Sami was the bad guy, then that makes Jey look that much more of an over babyface. Because apparently the theory is, well, what if the story is not around Roman this time, but actually around Jey for real, for real? Like we said it was initially from the first time around. What if this is actually just more about Jey this time than Roman? What if? Jay's friendship with Sami is overshadowing. You saw the trauma he's already going through with what he went through with Roman. So what if Sami's the low key hidden villain here, and he actually is on the side of the Bloodline 2.0. It's just little things like that. But
That would require a lot of time to tell a story. Like I can see that, but to risk, if they do that, they're gonna risk it feeling kind of rushed. I feel like something like that should be handled with care. Like because I feel like the entire, and this is just my theory. And this is just my analysis. I feel like the entire Sami getting back with the OG bloodline is a little rushed. Because I feel like, because then I believe I said it on here. I said I feel like they should take their time with him as far as like earning. He should take time re-earning their trust, because he was the initial split at the Royal Rumble 2023. So it's like I feel like nobody should be quick to just say, "Oh, I forgive Sami." Like it should not be quick. I feel like it should bleed into Survivor Series. Like I feel like on that go home SmackDown or whatever, they should still not be trusting Sami 100%. He has to like he had to do in 2022 War Games.
yeah,
If they go this route, he has to earn his stripes, but not the same way to where they push him away. It's like, okay, I want to trust you, but you did, and we still gotta wait until SmackDown, because I believe they're teasing them hashing it out on SmackDown. Everybody, all four. But even after they hash it out, I feel like Roman should still have that like twitch over his shoulder, because he was the same way with Seth. He didn't 100% forgive Seth for putting the chair in his back.
Yep, that's true.
Even through all the Sheer reunions, all that stuff, he still didn't 100% forgive Seth.
Yeah, I love your theory on that part, because clearly Roman's got trust issues.
Roman has trust and control issues. Jey has basically, he has like this issue where he needs your approval as well as acceptance. And then Jimmy has abandonment issues.
Yeah, you can see that story with Jimmy. You can see that.
It's like, what I mean by abandonment issues is basically like he feels abandoned by Jey. He felt neglected by Roman / abandoned by Roman. And he felt betrayed by Sami when Sami stood up to Roman. So it's like everybody has this little underlining story where you're like, okay, this is played. This is why he act this way. This is why he's fidgety this way. This is why he's this way. And it's like now Roman, after losing everything, he has to face the fact that it's like, I can't have my control issues. I have to rely on my cousins / brothers / nephews. If you look technicalities, their bloodline tree is weird, but yeah, I have to rely on them to get back control, to bring the family back together. And I also have to rely on the man who in many ways shattered the OG bloodline. Even though it's my fault, because I kept abusing him and trying to get him to prove his loyalty to the point where he snapped, I still have to trust him. And he still has to trust me. So that's the compelling part about it. Like, I understand people's annoyance with Sami being involved to an extent. Some of y'all just don't pay attention. Y'all just don't want Sami involved because y'all don't want Sami involved. Like, I've seen people say, hey, we need to get Zilla involved. Zilla who? Fatu? These are the same people who complained about Solo Sikoa getting rushed to the main event scene too quick in their eyes. You think Zilla, y'all won't do the same thing to Zilla?
Don't wish that on that man.
Don't wish that on that man. That's why I be telling people, I'm like, man, pay attention to the show. The discourse is fine. I'm not the type of discourse like my discourse is right and yours is wrong. I pay attention. Like I have basic fundamentals of reading. I know how to read. If I see a what if or what if this happens, that's called fantasy booking. I'm cool with that. But when some people just be downright like, no, this sucks. Sammy shouldn't be involved. You're not paying attention.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You're not paying attention.
And lingering around is still the Kevin Owens effect as well.
Oh yeah, Kevin Owens gonna snap.
You know,
And he's already snapped on Randy Orton. And Randy Orton wasn't even his best friend, but you got Sami Zayn getting back involved with the main ops.
Mm-hmm.
That brother is definitely slapping.
Him being on SmackDown is definitely setting some type of seed that they're going to showcase some kind of way.
Mm-hmm. Like I would not be surprised if we get a cross, like some type of crossing. If it's not, it's going to be this Friday. It's going to be very soon. If not before War Games, Survivor Series, or after. But Kevin Owens is definitely going to come see Sammy face to face, and they're going to hash it out. And by hash it out, I mean Kevin Owens going to slap the shit out of him.
Mm-mm. Well, boy. Yeah, man. But it's good to see that the Bloodline 2.0 finally got the needed win. Yeah, they've had some wins. They've had some wins in the past. It ain't like they've always lost, but this is a much needed momentum shift in the right direction, and specifically even for Solo as the leader to
Yeah, that man ain't won since SummerSlam.
Yeah,
before.
Since him to get the pin and the way and the fashion that he did, I know that threw a lot of people off because nobody was expecting that. You know, everybody assumed that Roman and the crew was going to win since they just formed this together. But it was like, no, it made sense. The story of that being, like you said, they all came out separately. You know, minus Jimmy, but it was like, yep, yeah, y'all ain't united yet.
And the story is basically Jey said, hey, if I'm gonna do this, we got to be equals. We nobody's lackeys, nobody's bitch. I'm not your right hand man. I'm main event Jey Uso, and you're Roman Reigns. So he's basically like, it's main event Jey Uso and Roman Reigns and Jimmy Uso.
Mm-hmm.
And they need to give Jimmy a nickname because it's like Roman Reigns, main event Jey Uso featuring Jimmy. Like they need to get this man a nickname, like Big Jim.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. He's gotta have something. I don't know how, I don't know when, but I'm happy to see what's unfolding. And even with, what was I gonna go with that? Even in the fact of, I don't know, man, it still would be nice to have had some women involved in this somehow, but maybe they get there, maybe they don't. Maybe it never gets there. But it's cool to just see what's unfolding amongst this.
Oh yeah, for sure. So yep, now we got SmackDown to look forward to with the Bloodline to see where they go to next. Like there's no, like I said, like I enjoy seeing the discourse online when it comes to this story because that means y'all care. Like y'all pay attention. Y'all love it. And it's like the moment y'all get offensive about stuff, then that's when y'all lose me. But other than that, hey man, this story is, no matter what anybody says, it's still compelling multiple years later.
Yes.
Anything else that happened on Crown Jewel? Basically, Cody Rhodes and Liv Morgan are the inaugural Crown Jewel champions. Did you care about about these matches?
I cared about Liv and Nia because of just the Tiffany element. Was wondering if we were going to get a cash second. We Slick kind of almost did, but still teasing that, so we'll see how that plays out. And yeah, I mean, as far as Gunther Cody, I was just more so intrigued on how they were going to actually execute that, which that finish was a little lame. But hey, Cody got the pin, got the win, and looks like you're slowly getting a babyface Gunther somehow.
Nah, I feel like he's still gonna be a dick. I think it's more so because Gunther literally said he called his shot and said on one of the pre-show interviews, he was like, I'm just gonna choke out Cody. And his first mistake was constantly going to that game plan. Like he made a mistake and he got caught. So I feel like that's the story that they was trying to tell in that main event. And even on Raw afterwards, he acknowledged, he's like, yeah, I made a mistake. We both got to do better. I wouldn't necessarily say it's him going babyface, because it's like, if they do go that route, where they're gonna bring back CM Punk as a heel, if that's the match that they're going for next, CM Punk and Gunther, or CM Punk and or Drew McIntyre and Gunther again, but this time with Gunther as a babyface.
I guess we'll have to see, brother.
And then we got Damian Priest challenging. So babyface versus babyface, or is he just gonna be a dick? Or they probably going the route. Remember what they did? They teased Braun Breaker being a babyface, and he just came out and just speared Jey Uso and just said, "Yeah, you thought." Yeah.
Could be. I mean, probably a slow burn. It's probably an Austin level situation. He'll still be him, but he gets cheers. It seems. You know, he's from the way the streets talk about it, the way he talks, the way he acts. You know, he's charming, if you will. So on the mic, he's funny. Says some things that you're like, oh, that was hilarious. I wasn't really expecting that. For example, I guess that's a segue. Goldberg's finally getting a retirement match. Oh, joy. Therefore, if that was to happen with Gunther based off what we saw live, then, well, mathematically speaking, that would mean that Gunther's kind of going to be the babyface going into that, whether Goldberg knows it or not, because, you know, they're going to be cheering Gunther. If they're deciding to go that match. They may not. They may go him and Braun. They may go him and Braun's son. You know, based off something like that, it sounds like they're going to go Gunther, but hey.
Listen, if it's somebody that doesn't need to lose to Goldberg, then I'm all for it. But if it's somebody like Gunther or Braun Breaker, get ready to count them likes, Billiam.
Yeah. Nah, I mean, based off, you know, like in Busted Open and all of them, I mean, they're the way they see it. I mean, you even got those guys saying, hey, as long as they made that agreement, making sure they know, like, hey, bro, you ending this not on top. You're ending this to put somebody.
You're putting somebody over.
So, preferably somebody younger that needs that rub. So, Bronson Reed and or Braun Breaker. Wrong Braun. Oops. Yeah. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Speaking of Goldberg, I saw this tweet by Kaz from one of the leading guys over Wale Mania on Twitter.
Yeah.
And he posted a clip of Jey Uso's entrance in Saudi Arabia. And he was like, nah, Goldberg. I'm just doing this verbatim, though, because I don't have the tweet in front of me. But he was like, nah, Goldberg didn't have this much motion. And by motion, I mean, like, it didn't have the crowd going this crazy. And I'm like, when I saw that tweet, I'm like, I don't know if he was being facetious or if he was trolling or whatever. I looked at that, I was like, I'm not the biggest Goldberg advocate. Hell, if I never see him again in my life, it would be too soon. But I'm pretty sure he had some motion in that 1997 to 98, 99 period. Like, if you look back at classic episodes of WCW, that man had the crowd in the palm of his hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Goldberg, Hogan, Georgia Dome, WCW Nitro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, I still get messages from people who were actually there saying, bro, I legit still have hearing loss from being in that building. That's how loud it was.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree with Kaz when you say what is his philosophy on motion? I'm guessing popularity, because I can't keep up with these modern terms.
Man, shoot, I have no idea, brother. When it comes to him, I couldn't tell you. I don't different eras. That's all I can really say. How quickly people forget, It's just like, yeah. That's like comparing Jordan fans to LeBron fans. It's like two different eras. You had to be there. And if you ain't from that time frame, then now in his case he's from both time frames, but so he should know better to make a statement like that. Because Prime Goldberg in his prime was completely different. Even early first WWE run, even though it didn't pan out the way people probably thought it would have, he still got hella reactions because they were waiting for that with that invasion angle. Guys like a Goldberg, like a Sting, that's what they wanted for that era. And when you didn't get that, Goldberg eventually finally came in 02 the way he did, it was like, it's about to get real now, And then WrestleMania 20 happened, but hey, whatever.
Yeah, it was like there's I can kind of tell with today's engagement farming, people always want a reaction, but I just thought that was interesting. I'm like, come on now, I'm not Goldberg's biggest fan. Like, me and Haven Rain agree on one thing, and that's fuck Bill Goldberg. But I'm not gonna sit here and just cap and just say that man had no motion, no popularity, or not enough. Like, I'm like, I would dare say that he had a little bit more than Jey in his prime.
Okay.
But that's just me. But yeah, Goldberg retiring next year, 2025. I'm just gonna tell you right now, you're not overshadowing John Cena, so you can have your little match. You can have your little one-off. Retire, doesn't matter. We'll be there, but we won't be paying attention.
I'm just happy he finally got it so he can stop saying,
Talking
they
about
owe me a retirement match. I'm like, bro, really?
They don't owe you shit, but
you
yeah,
lost
I digress.
literally the last few times we saw you do that. You're going to lose this time. So what's the point?
Speaking of losing, do you feel like Bronson Reed should have lost to Seth Rollins?
Based off the fact that it looks like they're continuing this feud, I'm not mad at the outcome per se, but I get some people's criticism. Like, Seth doesn't need to win, and I mean, in his case, he could have lost and would have been all right. I don't think this is slowing down Bronson Reed's momentum at all, honestly, because based off that Raw situation, as long as he keeps doing devastating stuff like that to people, he's going to be fine. If anything, his stock continues to rise. And it's the fact that even after losing, he still got up. And Seth's still doing his part of selling based off the look of, like, what are you made of? Like, what is wrong with you? Like, and I'm just like, come on, I want more. So it's given, let me see, what's that Marvel character? Or am I thinking DC? Doomsday. There we go. He's acting like Doomsday to the DC fans out there. If you don't know about Doomsday, look him up. I know most people are Marvel people, but in DC, Doomsday, who I don't think he's ever been on.
Has he been in live action?
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think he's been on there yet. I think he might have been in Batman vs Superman, but I can't remember. I gotta go back and look and see who that villain
I
is.
barely remember that movie because it was so bad.
Yeah, me too. I can't remember because there was a villain in that, but I forgot if it was Doomsday or not. But Doomsday, to those who don't know, is basically an indestructible, invincible super being. So at the end of the day, you can't really kill him, and he, no matter how much Superman beats him down, dude killed Superman, for crying out loud. Let's just put it that way. All right, Doomsday is one of those things like he can't really die, and no matter what you do to him, he's going to continually just keep on coming. And that's kind of how they're doing Bronson Reed in a sense. It's like no matter what you do to the guy, he's just going to keep coming up for more. And
what do you think the end game will be? Him being the champion, or him just continuing to get all these high octane spots and just to come up short?
I think it's resulting into him just being a main event player, main event piece. The fans are getting behind him because it's like every time they see him, they know it's about to go down. Tsunamis in the most destructive way possible. Yeah, to a point where like what we said in the early stages of him, when we were saying like, yeah, that moves more over than he is, like. But now it's like the way they're booking him and making him such a monster and machine, like the Seth's the stepping stone to it. So I think Seth eventually will take the L to him, and then once he finally beats him, it's like, okay, that's the most major win in his career, and then it catapults him to maybe a Drew McIntyre. If they don't figure out what they're gonna do with a Drew McIntyre, maybe he then goes on to a guy like that. He just continues to get put over by those who don't really have much more to do or need to do anything, and it's just like a nice side quest to continue to build his resume till, like you said, maybe eventually a title does come his way. Not that he necessarily needs it, because he may not even really need it, because his aura may overshadow a title for him, but that's not to say he won't still possibly get one in the future. Him and Gunther inevitably could happen down the line.
Now I would say they do have him with a title. I wouldn't go the Braun Strowman route, because remember he was red hot in 2017, and then they just didn't put the title on him. Yeah, if Bronson ever strikes gold and gets red hot, I feel like he should, and he goes after the title, they should just pull the trigger.
Yeah,
because his moveset, in my opinion, especially after watching him at Crown Jewel, is vastly incredible. In my opinion, like he does moves where his height, you don't even notice his height. He's not a tall guy. He's thick. Pause. So it's like it comes he is definitely someone to pay. And I've been paying attention to him since his NXT days, when he was NXT North American champion before he got released. And it's like I sat through people trying to convince me up and down like Bronson Reed sucks, this, that, and the third. And I'm like, bro, all they gotta do is just find the right moment for you. Y'all be so dismissive of people because he doesn't get a crowd reaction. Are you there? Do you know if all of the crowd is reacting? Like, y'all have to really. Are you? And that's another thing too. A lot of people need to stop going off of like as if you're a part of the company. Do you enjoy it? Do you like this person? Do you like what this person brings to the table? If you do, it's okay. Stop spending your time trying to convince me to dislike him because you dislike him. You're wasting your breath. But yeah, Bronson Reed, like I didn't lose sleep over him losing to Seth Rollins, but yeah, I feel like they definitely need to boost him to that next level once he finally gets that win over Seth Rollins.
I agree.
What else happened on Crown Jewel?
Well,
Raw too. Like it don't have to be just Crown Jewel. What else happened over there too? It's a 2-for-1
this
basically.
New Day split up is getting more and more interesting.
Yeah. 10 years of the New Day. Because I believe they said they're going to dedicate an entire episode.
Something tells me that means we're going to get a Big E on-screen appearance around that time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like even
Now before we give them their flowers, how do we see this going? Do you see your theory of Kofi snapping on Woods as a swerve? You see them going a predictable route with Woods turning on Kofi, or do you see Big E coming out and Woods turning on Big E, knowing he can't fight back?
Right now it's looking like Woods. The only reason I really kind of predicted the Kofi factor was the who situation that I won't speak of.
Never mind.
But sorry, y'all mosquito somehow. The freak. Great. That's what we need. Where did that come from? How did a mosquito come in? Sorry.
Yeah, the weather's changing. They're trying to find comfort, but they can't do that in our house.
Exactly. I'm like, what the heck? How did that get in here? Wow. Yeah, now I'm gonna have to kill it when I see it again. It's one of those little small, visible looking ones. But anyways, yeah, dude, like I'm intrigued because I want to see. It's just, Woods is becoming too much of the hothead here, where it's very obvious that he's going the heel route. The only thing I ask is I'm just wondering how they're going to go about this when the time is right. Like, what will be the end game once Woods gets past this? Because obviously the reason behind this and the main story is the narrative started as he's the only one that has not had a true singles title run. So, at some point, this is why I was kind of hoping Jey was still going to be IC champ at some point, but somehow, some way, eventually, this man has to win a singles title. That's his end game. Now, which title he wins, I have no idea. On the World Heavyweight title, but somebody got to beat Gunther then, if that be the case. And I don't know who that is. Not yet. Sounds too soon to say, well, wait a minute. You know what? Damian Priest could win that title after all. If this Goldberg thing is for real, remember that fool has a habit of costing people things. I know people, nobody likes to hear that, but Goldberg does have a strange habit of costing people things. And I could easily see a situation where he would cost Gunther his championship. Priest wouldn't want to win it that way, but if you think about it, that's kind of how he lost his title to begin with, interference. So who's to say the same thing wouldn't happen to Gunther? And then have Priest be champ, and then work your way up to Woods eventually getting a shot at it, and then him being the guy to somehow dethrone Priest, be on top for a little bit, if you want to go that route, or then you got to find out who the heck beats freaking, Braun Breaker, and then because clearly
they got to put Braun Breaker on TV first.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm like, either way you squeeze it, pause. Somebody's gotta. One of them have to lose to a babyface to allow Woods to then sneak his way into a title shot somehow, and dare I say win. Because it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's IC or whether it's World Heavyweight title. Most of us, if Marty were here, Marty would say, yeah, let him get the World Heavyweight title. Because, our boy Marty would definitely want that. mad at him for that. But it's tough. It's a tough route. So one of these got to happen for that to happen.
Yeah, so I definitely see a heel turn for whenever they do. Pretty much their own version of Festival of Friendship. 10 years. 10 years of the New Day. Now that we got our, I guess you could say, fantasy booking betting odds of what they go after this at the end of the day, I said it on Twitter, and I'll say it again. No matter the outcome of the celebration episode of Raw, nothing or no one can take away the 10-year impact that the New Day had on modern WWE. A lot of us hated them with the whole comedy shtick, the goofiness, the bootios, the unicorns. A lot of people hated them. Some people found it entertaining. Over time, once they got in that ring, they put on their feud with the Usos, their feud to win the tag team titles. They beat who did they beat to win those tag team titles and become the longest reigning tag team champions? Was it Primetime Players?
Wow.
It was like Fatal 4-Way match. Oh, my brain. Yeah, that's how far back we're going. Like, yeah, like we remember.
Oh,
that.
I remember that very clearly. It just says more about their tenure. It's like, wow, tag teams that aren't even around anymore.
Facts.
Wow, you know what I'm saying?
Titus is an ambassador, and Darren Young is Fred Rosser in New Japan.
Yep, trainer/wrestler.
Trainer/wrestler. So yeah, man, they've impact. Their Hell in a Cell against the Usos, still one of my favorite Hell in a Cells to this day. And this was during the era where the Hell in a Cell was pretty much becoming, I guess you could say, non-serious. It was literally a gimmick. It wasn't even a feud settler. It was literally just a gimmick. But they went in there, showed up, and showed out.
I'm trying to think who else they had good chemistry with. It wasn't you. Maybe the Bar.
Oh yeah, they definitely had great chemistry with the Bar.
Yeah, the Bar. Man, I'm trying to think of some of their unforgettable segments for days. Like,
oh yeah, remember that segment with The Rock?
Yeah, that's one of my faves. Oh, look at the big one! Look at the big one! You made the big one angry. Look at the big. Watch the product, Rock. Like, ooh. It was just, oh my gosh. Yeah,
they held their own against The Rock. That told me everything I needed to know.
Yeah, it was the New Day time machine, hopping back in time. Kofi coming out to his old, he was like, hey man, 2009 was one of my best years.
He said, wait, that's one of my best years. What are we doing? Why I gotta go back?
Oh boy. Yeah, man.
And then on top of that, Big E winning the WWE Championship. Kofi Kingston, Kofi Mania. When they joined the 5-time club with Booker T, King Booker. Like, it's so many moments and memories that you can literally pinpoint with New Day, and none of them will be wrong to be picked. So it's like whatever route they're going with the New Day going forward after the 10 years, we're obviously going to be there, but nothing or no one will be able to erase the most decorated tag team faction in WWE history. Period.
Agreed. Man.
New Day, 10 years. It's crazy.
New Day rocks for life.
For life. Oh, Io Sky. Oh, and they were Triple Crown in NXT. So it's so many moments. But Io Sky is the number one contender for the Women's World Championship.
Speaking of that, the bigger story of that entire thing is the seeds are now planted officially with Bianca and Jade, it seems. Looks like Liv's on the cusp of breaking up yet another duo. That's kind of becoming her thing, it seems. Breaking up duos. You know?
I like how Bianca slapped the fire out of her, though.
Nah, for real. And it's one of those things where I'm like, that I knew it. I knew it. That just solidified it. I knew Jay was freaking Deadpool. I knew it. Freaking knew it. That waistline, I didn't see that until just now. I knew it. I was like, she looks like Deadpool. She's such a superhero fan. That's why I was like, yo, that explains so much now. It's like, yeah. Well, a couple things here. It looks like Raquel and Liv about to be tag team champions yet again, which also means Liv's about to be a double champ, which also means you add that plus the little Crown Jewel thingamajig, and that's one hell of a run of a year for her at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So, congrats, Liv. If that's where this is headed, well done, ma'am. Compared to the first time we saw you, met you when you were the "I'm happy to be here" champ. I finally achieved my dream champ.
The SmackDown Women's Champion.
Yeah, now you found your bag and you found your character and your purpose, and now it's leading to your run of a lifetime. So that would be a crazy thing. Like her future Hall of Fame status now is pretty much all but complete. Like you do that, that just already shows like
when we get a studio set up, we should bring her on the show. Her and Dom on the show just to chill. And
for sure.
And I promise y'all, just letting y'all know right now, any wrestler that we ever come around to get on the show, we're not talking wrestling. So don't expect us to get no news headline for Fightful. None of them people one thing about me, it's like the wrestler always have to ask me to talk about wrestling. Like if they're plugging something, because 9 times out of 10 it's like I want to get to know the person. So it's like if they want to be in character, fine, I'll play along. But as far as like just to sit down and just to pick their brain and their thoughts on the business is always fascinating to me, especially different point of views. You won't hear me ask about who's the modern 4 horsewomen of WWE. That's not happening. But yeah, we definitely got to bring her on the show. But for Bianca and Jay, it's like they're planting the seeds of Bianca turning on Jay. Do you think it's gonna be the other way around, or you think they're gonna go that route with Bianca? Because
I could, it's funny you should say that, because I don't know if you've noticed, Busted Open brought this up like months ago. I think it was Bully that brought this up. They say sometimes Bianca looks a bit frustrated when she's in the ring with Jade, and not from like you can tell her friends in real life, but more so just like because Bianca's pace is so much faster that she almost has to like slow it down because Jade's still learning and getting up to speed. And maybe this will be a case where it's like the reverse of what she went through with Sasha, Mercedes, if you will, when Mercedes was calling her rookie, and it was like, and she was kind of using that against her. This could be a situation where Bianca's kind of looking at Jade the same way. Like, I've been carrying you this whole time, and I was the longest reigning women's champion, and then you come along, and people all of a sudden want to put us together because we're two strong, beautiful black women. But that's been slowing me down because while we might have been champions, I got lost in the shuffle. Some kind of, anything. It could be a reason behind it. Bianca will find a way to make it work. But then again, there's the John Cena factor with her. So, does she want to be heel? We know what heel Bianca looks like because we got a lot of that in NXT. So we know exactly how good Bianca can be as a heel. However, what would that mean? Because unfortunately, with a heel Bianca, that also means they're going to change that theme song. And you do not want to change that theme song. So you know what would happen. You know what would happen.
They're Bravo out of here by the time that shit happening. No. Get them niggas out of here. No. No. No.
That's what I'm saying. She would definitely get a totally heel theme if that was to happen. I still
No,
don't
Death
give them.
Rebel. No, Death Rebel. They'll remake it. But give it rock metal.
I hope not.
I'm on my against the walls. It's you know they like their theatrics.
Yeah.
And they're gonna have a random female rapper. Watch me shine now. Watch me shine now. I'm tired of carrying the world on my back now. I'm on my own.
Yeah, dog. I know, man. I know.
Nah, this is how it's gonna start. This is the EST. Bianca Belair.
Nope. I'm not impressed. They're gonna find something. They're gonna find
something to fuck up her presentation. I just know.
Yeah, they're another one we'll get on the show.
But yeah, Io Sky is the number one contender for the Women's World Championship. I feel like it's gonna be a fun match. Her versus Liv. One thing I can tell y'all now, like this Liv Morgan hate train is forced because in-ring wise, she's been putting in some of her best work for the past couple of months.
Mm-hmm.
Like nobody will ever get me to hate Liv.
Facts, big facts. Dom, that's a whole different story. But you know, Liv, absolutely, for sure. Yeah, you 10-11, anyways.
I mean, I love chicken tenders and nuggets, especially from Wendy's, the spicy ones.
I mean, I do too, but that's beside the point. You know?
Yeah.
It's just, but anyways, yeah, bro. Yeah, that's gonna be cool. I ain't gonna lie. I thought Bird Girl was gonna get it, but you know,
Bird Girl.
Lyra's kind of growing on me. It was good to see her because I was so like, what the heck happened to her? Did they give up on her? I'm like, God damn, where's she at? And I'm like, oh, you are still in the roster. Good, okay. Oh, yeah. Speaking of rosters, quick sidebar. Well wishes to Indy Hartwell, Tegan Knox.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Because Corbin, actually, Indy and Corbin was probably the most shocking of the two. Especially because Indy literally just had a match and found out before her match, which is kind of effed up.
Well, that was taped, so she wasn't even there.
The fact that she still didn't even know was just like, yikes. But they've done that before, so it's not like it hasn't happened before with this company. I see her as a strong Impact Wrestling individual, or TNA. Personally, I think that'll be the better brand for her. Please don't go to AEW. Don't get lost in that over there. If you really want to establish yourself and find yourself some more, do it in TNA. They can use the faces over there. I actually say the same for Tegan Knox. Come on over to TNA too. Both of y'all, I think, are a perfect addition for the TNA roster. Especially because more than likely they're losing Jordan Grace come January. So it's like they're going to need some of those pieces to fill in for what they lost with Jordan Grace. You know what I mean? So prayerfully they end up over there. And then, well, Corbin is one of those guys that could be a little bit of any and everywhere, to be honest. I heard he's very good friends with Pat McAfee. Could end up doing something on the Pat McAfee show for all we know. You know, he's a good solid mouthpiece. Apparently he's very good at grilling. You know, they say on his Instagram he grills a lot of good dope meats, or he's like a big smoker and stuff like that, or something like that. So, you know, he's a Chiefs fan, Kansas City Chiefs. Never know. You can do some stuff with them. It's basically they're saying his windows are kind of similar to how AJ Francis was when AJ Francis got released, where it was like you probably will see him pop up in somebody's company, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it'd be all that he's doing. You know what I'm saying? Right. So he's one of those guys where I think he's going to be, out of the three, he'll be the most I'm good kind of situation. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then
even if he never goes back, he's good.
Yeah, I've always appreciated Baron Corbin. You know, we just talked about Liv and gave her flowers. I want to say to Corbin, I never really hated you, bro, in terms of like a go away kind of hate. I thought you were always good at being the heel, but I mean, Lone Wolf Baron, I always appreciate it. Constable Corbin, I appreciate you for what you're trying to do with it as far as making yourself hateable as a heel. Of course, bum-ass Baron Corbin is goated. Straight up goated. Like, you made that, you took off and ran with that. Happy Corbin was, you know, but again, you did what you could with it, and it looked like you were having fun in the process with it. So, for that, it was what it was. And, good old Wolf Dogs, man. I mean, shoot. Hey, that was a good run, what you did in NXT with the Wolf Dogs. You know, we were there live for that. Yep. So I'm honored that we at least got to see you live in your reincarnation phase in NXT. And yeah, man, best wishes to all three of those talents.
Especially Tegan, because she didn't even get a fair shake.
Yeah, and this is why I think she should be for sure in TNA. I think TNA is the perfect place to give her that, because if you go to AEW, it's gonna be the exact same thing. You'll get a rollout, you might step into a title match, probably something with Mercedes, and then you'll lose, and then all of a sudden you'll be on freaking Collision and Rampage, I guess. Like,
oh, that's still a show?
It's still a show. At least until Shockwave or whatever that is comes, I guess.
If that's still coming.
Yeah, if that's still coming. So, you know, yeah, I think both her and Indy should end up in TNA, because I think they'll have a bigger spotlight for them to do what they truly want to do, being on that side. Like I said, again, it's very apparent Jordynne Grace is all but signed to WWE at some point. So, yeah, why not, when you lose something like that, get these, by the time she leaves, they should be just about outside of their 90 days, if not right around the time of their 90 days. So they would be really good rollouts for TNA's roster.
Speaking of rollouts for rosters, I never got your thoughts. I think we talked about it on the Public Enemies podcast on Thursday, but what are your thoughts on WWE ID?
Oh, well, it made me say, hey, bro, you know, we talked about wrestle school. You want to go to the Nightmare Factory real quick? You know? I said, I heard names. I said, oh, the Nightmare Factory out here? Say less. Let's get that WWE ID real quick. You know, that's how you jumpstart your way straight to the WWE, baby. They'll see this mouthpiece and they'll say, hey, yeah, no, get that guy a contract right now. Let's get him, yeah, let's get him to the ring.
I'm not getting hired because I'm not taking no bumps.
Oh no! Don't get twisted. You know, I might take a bump or two, but I'm more so. Shit. I'm more so looking at it as I'm a mouthpiece. You feel me? On the mouthpiece. Let me pick up where the lovely Samantha left off. Let me give y'all some energy on these ring announcements. You know, let me give you a mouthpiece like a Paul Heyman out there and be somebody's wise man. You know what I'm saying? That kind of thing. You know.
I respect your decision, Booker man.
Oh yeah, dog. Yeah.
The
But
best you can get out of me is commentary.
okay, all right. That you would excel in that, sir. You'll make Pat McAfee jealous. Goddamn.
I just gotta remember to not say nigga.
Yeah, then you'll be Abraham Washington. We don't want you to be that. All right. Oh, that boy has so much potential, and then just man, you effed it
He just
up.
had to make that Kobe joke.
Yep. See, could have been one of the greatest mouthpieces of all time.
And he just had to bring in Linda McMahon politics on Twitter. Because that's what really got him fired. It wasn't even the Kobe joke. It was him mentioning Linda McMahon on Twitter.
And unfortunately, people, that's why you will never see him in the Hall of Fame. Or with the Legends contract. But nonetheless.
Was he even a legend to be considered a legend?
Hey,
he
man.
didn't even get his foot wet. He didn't get his foot wet.
Armando Alejandro Estrada got his Legends contract.
Because he was tied to Umaga. That was pretty much.
True. Dawn Marie got her Legends contract.
Yeah.
So he did nothing too special.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if we getting our legend contracts like hotcakes, give me a legend contract. I've been covering wrestling for over 10 years, so you can give me a legend contract.
He did technically find the primetime players. I give him that. He did form that.
And that didn't last long.
True, but they won the tag team titles.
They won the tag team titles without him. I can't give him flowers that doesn't exist. I'm sorry.
Hey, man, it had to start from somewhere, you know. They won it without him, but it had to start from somewhere. That's his fault, you know.
Yeah, that's the reason why I'm saying that. I'm like, bro, he would have. He did have so much potential, but he just fumbled his own bag.
Yeah.
But who do you think can pop up into this WWE ID? Because I think they said they're gonna reveal the first, I guess, person that's ID'd on Sunday. For those of you who don't know what the WWE ID is, basically their form of their recruitment, similar to what they did with the college athletes. Now they're going back to the independent scenes. Like if you studied under Cody Rhodes' school, Seth Rollins' school, Booker T's school, and another school, I forgot who owns. I think it's Rikishi's school. Mm-hmm. Then they're going to be paying attention to you more. A lot of people was up in arms saying, "Oh my God, they're finna raid the Indies." That's not necessarily the case. It's more so if you are attached to this specific school that they have association with, they're going to ID you first, and then they're going to test the waters and see how this operates, and then they're going to probably expand over the next coming years.
Well, you asked to answer your question. The one you asked me, who's number one? I think it's kind of obvious. We just talked about him a little earlier. It's probably Zilla. Let's just call it like it is.
Oh yeah, Zilla. For sure. If it's not Zilla, I'd be surprised.
He's just got number one draft pick written all over him in terms of like scouting purposes. So especially when you come up with a Superman spike, which is crazy.
It's just him doing it's like he's just doing the Superman punch, but with his thumb.
But it's genius because no one else thought about that.
The super
thumb. That's what I'm saying. Like, this is why probably some people can't wait to see him get there eventually, because like he's thinking of things that I love when these, like how these New Age Samoans are like, you know, this.
That should be the subsidiary to the Bloodline when he comes in, the New Age Samoan.
Yeah, no, for real.
The New Age Outlaws with the New Age Samoans.
That could work, no, for real, because it's like I like how he's adapting and saying, you know, okay, like with Jey, you know, we was talking about how everybody adapts people's movesets. That's why when people are like, oh, well, you know, the Usos will never be like great wrestlers. I mean, they only do super kicks and body splashes and Samoan drops and hip attacks, and it's like, hello, all of them do each other's movesets. If you haven't noticed, okay, The Rock was doing movesets.
The only one who stands out is Jacob because he does the whispering in the
ring, whispering in the ring, swanton bombs. Yeah, he does a little bit of everything, right? But it's still the fact that that's what I'm saying. Even he shows tribute to his fellow family members, right? And it's like
Right.
Zilla is like, Samoan Spike, which, clearly Solo readapted. Samoan Spike, Superman Punch. What if I put the two together? Yes! There we go.
I get the fly and thumb you in the throat. Paul.
But it's effective. It makes sense. It's like, you know what? That's genius. And I'm like, this is why I say, hey, I hope that when Jey did the People's Elbow at the live show, I was like, Jey, why aren't you doing this, sir? You should do it. Do it on TV. Do it. Rock ain't doing it. Do it.
He's barely there.
Call it the People's Yeet for all I care. I don't know. Anything. Hey, go for it, Jey. I mean, you already adapted the slaps. Why not go ahead and throw in, Yeet? Why not? But WWEID is pretty cool. Now I will say I heard Mark Henry kind of give some thoughts on it, and I wanted to kind of share that real quick. He kind of exposed some people in terms of like it wasn't attacking WWE, I don't think, but it was more like attacking certain promoters on the indie scene that basically be sleeping around with certain women to try to help catapult them, saying using their WWE connection as leverage to be like, oh yeah, I can help you get there, but you're gonna have to do a little something for me first. Like he was kind of just basically saying like, hey, nah, we don't do that here, and ain't none of that. Basically saying that he hates that. You know what I'm saying? And like he was also just kind of making it known. I'm paraphrasing a lot of this, but basically it was just more like when he looked at the school selected, he was just trying to understand like, what about Santino Marella's school? What about some of these other schools that have the WWE history in terms of like people who came from WWE at some point in time? Why, given most of those schools that are selected are schools that people currently affiliated in a sense, in some way, whether it's a Legends contract or an active, Seth Rollins school, Cody school, Booker T school, guys who are currently kind of involved, if you will. And so it wasn't like a bitter thing, but it was a thing where he kind of just pointed that out. And I think the counterpoint to it was like, hey, I think eventually they're going to work their way to get into some of those other schools. They're just starting out with these because there's so many indie promotions out there, and obviously they're not going to take over the whole thing because AEW is going to scout their talent where they are, They can't take over the whole thing, but they can take over at least the big ones, right?
Mm-hmm.
And be like, hey, we're going to provide you with the resources. I like that aspect of it, that it's providing these independent companies with the resources that they lack it in, right? So I think it's pretty genius that it's like, hey, we're going to give you extra cushion. It kind of reminds me of, it almost feels like the territories, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it almost feels like the territories a little bit. It's almost like they're bringing back the territories in a unique, different way. While it's still just, this is WWE, but now we got like certain territorial indie places where if you're an indie wrestler and you go here, just know you'll get that extra WWE spotlight rub if you come here. But
that makes sense. And I also will tell people this is mainly them saying they have first dibs on this particular talent, not saying, hey, we're guaranteed to sign you, because a lot of the stuff is not gonna work out. Like even with the WWE NIL, that didn't always work out. A lot of people who came through under that program didn't work out, but you had a few people who did. So, and I wouldn't say like they're at the top of the food chain, but like you could tell that they're progressing. So, hey man, hopefully they don't 100% go 100% on students. They go on some people who got some experience in the game, because I feel like NXT needs a lot more vets in that locker room. Good vets. I ain't talking about the sleazy time. I'm talking about like actual good vets to kind of like, okay, here's how we run the ropes. Here's how I run the ropes, but here's how you run the ropes. Let's find a compromise. That type of ordeal. And then as far as like just paying attention to how to work a crowd or know what position when it comes to which camera to work a body part on, stuff like that. So hey man, I'm not one of those who's gonna immediately shit on it. I'm just gonna wait and see how they progress with this program. Because remember when we reacted to the NIL news, we was like, oh my God, why not indies and why is this, that, and the third? But then over time we was like, oh, okay, let's just sit back and see what they do, what they cook. And so far we got some good people out of it that are currently cooking it right now. Obafemi comes to mind. I believe Jada Parker was in it as well. So a lot of people are cooking through those ranks. So now we're gonna see what they're gonna do with the ID program.
Wasn't Lola a part of that too?
I believe so, but she could also just be one of those just regular recruits because she was in MMA and just made the switch.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So yeah, let's get it. Well, I know for a fact, Bryn Reese, Thea Hill, most of the women were a part of that for sure. I think even Adriana Rizzo, I think, was a part of that too. So like, yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Even though I think she was injured her first round, so they brought her back after she recovered.
Yeah.
So
it's good to see.
A lot of good talent came from that subsection of the recruitment. So now they're going to pay attention to the indies, and it's like a lot of people saying, what's the difference between what they was doing before when they're just signing people? They're basically saying, hey, this is a pipeline that we're creating to give you a smoother transition as opposed to just us signing you and giving you a crash course. Here's the WWE style, learn it, like it, live it, whatever. Whereas if you go through the ID program, you're still allowed to work wrestling matches in various territories, if you will, or independent companies, except for anything affiliated with AEW. I can just tell you that right now. I mean, I know they ain't say that outright, but you can tell they not finna. If you do an AEW, you not getting 100% like clearance.
For sure.
Come on.
For sure.
But I think I'm excited to see where they go with it, because I know a lot of people, a lot of independent, unsigned wrestlers that are chomping at the bit. Like I can give you a couple of names off the top: Myron Reed, Jay Bougie, Alex Kane, Isaiah Wolf. Like it's so many people. I feel like what's her name? We saw them in Philly. Pretty much everybody who was in that. Remember that match we had at we saw at Foley?
Oh yeah.
All those ladies.
Jada Stone,
Jada Stone,
My World. You know, all of the Killer Bees.
Was it Tiana? Was it Tiana James?
Yeah, Tiana James. Yep.
Is it Tiana Tiara? I think it was Tiara.
Yeah.
I think. I'm sorry if I got your name wrong. My bad. It's been a long day.
All good, man.
But it's so many people. Jada, you said Jada Stone, right?
Yep, Jada Stone. Spark.
Yeah, Spark or Pocket Rocket, as Sloan called her.
Nah, yeah.
So it's so many unsigned talent.
My girl Tiffany Nevaez.
Tiffany Avatar.
Yeah.
It's so many people who have so much potential, and once they're given the right opportunity, they can kill it. So that's all we can say about that. Anything else before we move on to, I guess you could say, preview what's coming up this week, and then get them out of here? I think that's it.
Just Miz being kidnapped, and I found it hilarious. We never wanted the Final Testament.
Nah, you just brought it up. Like, people, because Karrion Kross, okay, he's growing on me. I admit. All it took was me to actually watch the non-televised stuff. So whatever they're doing on these backstage segments, If it could transfer to TV,
yes,
they got something here.
I
The
told
man is
y'all.
hilarious. The man is hilarious.
I told y'all. He's finding
But
himself.
that man said, he asked Adam Pearce, have they found the Miz? And they was like, they haven't found him yet. And he's like, well, if I find him, I'm gonna throw him off a roof.
Oh, yep. That's exactly what he was saying.
I said, bro, so here's the Miz's ultimatum. He either stays with the Wyatts and get tortured, or get found by Carrion and the Final Temptations to get thrown off the roof.
Well, and you probably missed the part maybe with Scarlett where she's like, honey, we have to go. Like, we have to get him.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I saw that last
like,
week.
Oh,
I saw that last week. He's like, do we? Yeah, he's
probably
dead.
Probably dead. Yeah, he's probably
Like
dead.
He's dead.
By now?
Yeah, he's definitely dead.
I was like, ooh. Yeah.
He said, she's like, but we gotta go. It's not funny. Right now? Right now.
Okay.
All right. And then he went to Walmart and found a toy. He said, all right, I found Miz. Search is over.
Oh my goodness, bro. Yeah, this is.
He does not care. And the reason why I called them the Final Temptations is because they like to tempt you to betray your friends. So they don't only say the Final Testament. I say y'all are the Final Temptation.
Yeah, I was telling people about this. I was telling people about this. It's like now it all makes sense what this stable was all about, and like you said, they can bring this to TV. It'll be that much more hilarious. And speaking of bringing things to TV, there is one more thing before we preview and get out of here. Now I don't know how true this is, because I heard some other pod that I've never really heard of. I just happened to see what the heck it was, and I was like, I didn't get a chance to look it up on how legit and how for real this is, but it would be a very interesting topic of discussion. Sir, I want to talk about the Street Profits and apparent frustration they have right now with a quote that it looked like that Montez was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems that I forget the name of what he was on. He was on something and basically was just sharing and voicing his frustrations of the fact that we're being forgotten about as far as what we did and what we've accomplished so far, and the fact that we're not one of the top tag teams right now the way we think we should be. And we haven't really been frequently really used for real. It's like people are starting to just remember us as a team that just falls to the wayside of the bloodline. Versus a team that's actually accomplished things and done things and should be valued as a top tag team. Up there with like how we talked about the Usos, for example. Like they should be in that same echelon where by now they should have probably won a couple more tag team title reigns. And how, these new tag teams are coming in, which it sounded like, didn't say it directly, but it sounded like it was basically Motor City Machine Guns. Come in, win tag team gold, and that's that. Now, granted, the only pushback to, if that's a true quote, the only pushback to that is, well, those guys kind of earned that in the independents. They've been around a long time. This was like the final thing for them to do on their bucket list. So I could understand. Plus, they're not spring chickens. Those guys are actually pretty freaking old. Like, the Street Profits are fairly, they're young enough where they still got a lot of mile and tread left on their tires. Mm-hmm. Both individually, if they go the separate route, and as a team. Those guys, on the other hand, bruh, I mean, do you know how many injuries they've both had combined over the years? Freaking Saban blew out both of his ACLs multiple times. Shelly, multiple injuries. Like, those guys they got a lot of miles on their tires. So the fact they kind of had to award them with those tag team titles like now.
Yeah, they couldn't wait. Because if they waited too long, like not saying it would have happened, but something could have happened.
Yeah, and it's like it was now or never for them. But I can understand it because when you look at the tag teams, right? Like, it's amazing that the women's tag division so far is looking more legit than the men's, which is strange.
You mentioned the Street Profits being frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people are talking about Montez Ford breaking out on his own.
Mm-hmm.
What could they possibly do to get the Profits to be healed, to be the ones to dethrone the Motor City Machine Guns and revitalize the Street Profits? Or even if it's, I don't even think it's a heel turn that's needed. I think they just need consistent booking.
Yeah, and I think that was mainly part of his frustration with that booking thing. And see, it's funny because it ties into the narrative Triple H has been getting as of late with the black talent thing. Ricochet, you know, when I don't know the name of whatever podcast that was, so forgive me. They probably won't see this, but whatever. From one of the guys that spoke, I just overheard him mention the fact that it's the pattern here. Ricochet was frustrated with his booking. Where is he now? AEW. Now, that's up for debate on how his booking's faring so far over there. We'll see. It is what it is, but nonetheless, he went there. Bobby Lashley, as we know, he's debuted. He is now officially in AEW, as is Shelton Benjamin, as is MVP. MVP was very open to let people know that they were trying to bring this Hurt business back in WWE, but Triple H and them said no. That's MVP's
You remember?
words.
You know why? You saw that booking pitch he gave about Gunther.
No. What did he do? MVP did?
Bobby.
What did you? What happened?
Oh, you didn't see that? He basically was like, I'm just doing verbatim right here. He was basically like, he pitched an idea of when Gunther was like real red hot. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure when Imperium was still a trio and not a duo. Mm-hmm. He was like, he would have came up face to face with Gunther and was like, I want to face you. And then Gunther would be something like on the total lines of, well, I don't face people like you. And Bobby would have put it like his thumb over his mouth to insinuate. Like they would have, he wanted them to toe the line. Like if the Hurt business was still a thing, he wanted them to toe the line to make people think, are you saying because he's black, this, that, and the third? And then Gunther will be like, oh no, because he's old. But he wanted to toe the line. He basically wanted racial undertones in his feud with Gunther.
Huh. So they wanted to Booker T this thing again.
Yeah, so, and it wasn't even their idea. It was something he pitched. So Triple H was like, yeah, fuck no. You're not about to get me canceled in 2022, 2023, whenever. Like, no. But I also look at it like Bobby was probably just desperate to try to get consistent booking.
Yeah, and this is why it's a very interesting thing because some of these content creators out here mention that this is what he who shall not be named, I guess.
Oh yeah, he definitely would have did it.
Well, it's not that he would have did it. Yeah, he would have did it, but it's just in general when you talk about booking black talent. Like, even though he didn't necessarily always know how to book them the best, sometimes he knew how to at least feature them. Like, Bobby Lashley was a lot more featured under his watch. Strangely enough, so was, well, pretty much everybody. I mean, a lot of people were featured, but then you think about like a Carmelo Hayes and you say to yourself, well, gee, what would he have been under he who shall not be named watch? Because he's not exactly a tall guy. Yes, he's very good. He's not a tall guy. And you know how that person did with not so tall guys. So he would have been up there with Cedric Alexander for crying out loud.
Probably.
So there's pros and cons to how, because like they were being up the New Day and how like, okay, well, he didn't know how to he had the right idea, but at the same time, he just didn't know how to execute it. But he basically trusted them with the ball. They ran with it, and once they figured out what they could do with it to make it themselves, it turned into this 10-year thing that was just celebrated. So, to some degree, they were saying, at least with him, he kind of knew how to book us to a degree. Versus in this installation, it's like there's a trend and a pattern going on here. Where why are your black talents a little frustrated? You know?
Right.
And I always thought Street Profits were Triple H guys because in NXT, Black and Gold, he booked them pretty well out there. I'll never forget when they won those tag titles in that ladder match. You know, like, bro, that reaction was crazy when they won that. You know what I'm saying? And then just how they got booked even as they debuted. I mean, again, ironically enough, he who shall not be named was the reason why they were on top of the world. Because as soon as they debuted, what happened? Tag team champions. That's like so long ago. Because they have not come within an inch of that gold since. But I don't know, man. This is, I thoughts and prayers go out to Doc and Montez, man. I mean, especially, this is why, you know what? I ain't gonna hold you, bro. Now here's an interesting creative pitch. Say Bianca does turn on Jade and she's the one to go heel, and then let's just say Montez happens to decide to go heel in his own right and finally go solo and try his own waters to test. On-screen heel pairing with the real life couple. They already have their chemistry. Their chemistry is always going to be there. So the fact that they can just do that in character would just be something interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
something long. Heel Montez and Bianca. Heel Bianca. Heel Street Profits. Babyface Street Profits. Babyface Bianca teaming with the Babyface Street Profits. B-Fab Street Profits. My only gripe is make sure the booking is consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Because they can turn heel and you still got the inconsistent booking problem, and then they'll be fizzled out in 6 months.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and I don't get it, man. I don't get it. That's a puzzling.
It's the same. It's my same gripe with Tony Khan in AEW. It's like their inconsistent booking is what's checking me out with what they got going on over there.
Mm-hmm.
I need consistency across the board. I say it every week, and I hate sounding like a broken record because once I start sounding like a broken record, I'm gonna take my butt back to retro episodes of WWF and WCW and TNA and call it a day.
Mm-hmm.
And we start talking about that because it's like if it's the same song and dance every week, these episodes get repetitive and boring.
Mm-hmm.
Because we keep saying the same thing over and over and over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. But speaking of booking and consistency, what you think about the Hurt Syndicate? We just talked about Bobby. Like, how you feeling about the Hurt Syndicate in AEW? You feel like anything's gonna be different?
I reserve my judgment, man. I haven't seen enough of it yet to really be able to tell. Bobby just got there. Shelton already took an L, but you know that debate. That's debatable on how you want to debate that L. I mean, a lot of people were kind of upset it was a clean, but you know, also people were giving the veteran rub of like, he'll be fine. You know, he's still gonna be booked pretty strong. So, yeah. Well, yeah. I just got to see how this turns out. You know, who else is gonna be a part of this? And what's it all gonna? What's the game plan? Like, what's the end game? You know, are we going to see them in the main event role? Or are you going to be stuck in purgatory? You know, it's quite a few things to think about.
They gave them the main event spot, and hopefully it don't come across that like that booking you said when we predicted the future of like Nixon, Newell, Tegan Knox, or Indy. It's like give them that initial pop and like, okay, here's the new toy, and then just put them on a shelf or put them behind the paywall of Ring of Honor or put them on Rampage that nobody watch or put them on Collision that very few people watch because a lot of people go out on Saturday nights. But hopefully it's consistent, honestly. But I did like the debut of Bobby. Like his theme song, Mikey Ruckus, never fails to amaze me with his music.
Yeah.
So I will always have love for his theme songs. But yeah, it's more of a waiting game. Wait and see type of deal. Wait and see also is NXT CW is going down because it's 2 head-to-head shows. No wrestling was on tonight because of the election. So NXT is going down tomorrow. So we'll be back with the Wednesday night war, if you will. How you feeling about anything going on? Like we got Bubba Ray and Trick Williams versus Ethan Page versus Rich Holland.
Yeah.
That's a match that you already know how I feel about that.
Yeah. Yeah. All good.
It's like a whatever, in you out type of deal. We have a star-studded 10-woman tag team match. NXT Women's Champion Roxanne Perez, Fatal Influence, including NXT Women's North American Champion Fallon Henley and Cora Jade versus Zarya, Stephanie Valkyrie, Julia, Jordan Grace, and Kalani Jordan. I saw a comment on I think it was from The Fuck You Mean, Cam. He said you can't bring in Zarya, Stephanie, Julia, potentially Jordan, and not cut some of the fat, unfortunately. I'm guessing that's in reference to like all these signings that they are bringing. So yeah, that's the unfortunate thing about, because there's only so much TV time you can give talent before you borderline start hoarding people. But that's neither here nor there. But I'm looking forward to this NXT women's like this will be the first time I'll be doing the NXT. We'll be doing the NXT without actually going on after the show. So that'll be interesting to see. We also have Javon Evans versus Wesley. How are you feeling this Wesley heel turn so far?
It's cool. He funny. He's funny. He's funny. I'm excited.
Nothing else.
I'm
gonna say nothing else needs to be said.
Yeah, he's funny. I'm looking forward to this. Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
And then we mentioned Dawn Marie with the Legends contract. We got Dawn Marie as the guest referee against.
This is the one I was waiting for. There we go. There we go. There we go. Yes. 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 Okay. It's a dream match, baby. This is a dream match.
Hardcore rules match. Jada Parker versus Lola Vice.
Dream match, baby.
With Dawn Marie as the guest referee.
Hips on hips on hips on hips. Yes. Yes, this will be fun.
This nigga.
Hey, man. Two of the baddest women.
I get it, though. I get it. They finna have a thick off. I get it.
Yeah, man. This is and it's hardcore. Oh yeah. It's gonna be fun. Yeah, we're good. Probably
NXT
show off this one.
Facts. That way I can go to sleep early if the tag team is not event.
Shoot. All right. Oh, I will say this with NXT though. You know, I didn't get to tell you this theory, but I knew it. I was like, I knew it. I freaking knew it. I knew Nikita Lyons was the one that attacked Rizzo. I freaking knew it. When she's like, yeah, I'm gonna get that person. I'm gonna get her on NXT on Tuesday. I said, it's Nikita, isn't it? because I thought about the little segment when Oba's like, "You forgot this," and I'm like, why would he suddenly have your jacket? Huh?
She was throwing it back on. She was throwing it back on the ruler.
Yeah, and she called me crazy, but I just get this weird feeling she's gonna be in the middle of this big black stable. I don't know why, but I get
Big
this
black
strange.
niggas.
Yeah, I think she's gonna be the ringleader.
She's gonna be the Oreo to their. She's gonna be the cream to their Oreo.
Yeah, it's giving that vibe. I think it'll be Oba, her, and those other two black gentlemen. That's like the bootleg crime time. Yeah.
Ain't them the dudes who be wrestling them Timberlands, them Timbs?
That's why I call it the bootleg crime time. Yeah, pretty much. I think it'll be those two plus Oba. Let's see, Lucia, Stacks.
Nah, those still with. I'm about to say them. Yeah, them other two are. OTM is still with Jada, so yeah, them other two big black motherfuckers gonna be with Oba. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, that'd be like, I don't know what they'll call the little stable, but I just feel like that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to throw Nikita Lyons in the stable.
Darula and his kingdom.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what it's giving. It's giving that vibe. Yeah, the family versus the kingdom. Yeah. Yeah, so, she could be the queen, I guess. I don't know, but hey. Yep, that's what it's giving. That's what it's giving.
Man, that's what it's giving. And speaking of giving, that's what we got for you. That is our show, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. It's been light for the past couple of weeks. It's been running through my brain as we get prepared for the end of the year awards. We might sprinkle in one retro episode for shits and giggles, or we might do it after the finale. Like we might pre-tape. We'll figure it out. No determination. Like we'll probably pre-tape a bonus Christmas episode to just drop for you guys, just to have while we're on break after the 100th episode. To be determined, but I'm always thinking of other stuff because I feel like our shows are getting shorter because there's a lot less for us to talk about because the holidays are coming up. We might have a lot more to talk about when Survivor Series gets here or close to Survivor Series. I believe. Is Survivor Series going to be our last post show? Or is there going to be another? Or should we do one for Saturday night's main event?
Yeah, probably Saturday. That's to be determined based on what they built for it.
Yeah, true. But yeah, we're winding down this year. A successful year, actually. We appreciate you guys top to bottom from just rocking with us. We're on the road to 100 episodes. This is episode 95. Hopefully you guys got a good laugh, and even if you get a good laugh, just a nice conversation. We appreciate you guys in the chat. Squints, fuck you mean, everybody over on Twitch, Twitter, X, YouTube, Facebook. We appreciate y'all for just rocking with us for this past year. I believe we only missed like what 2 or 3 weeks when we had to skip. But outside of those few weeks we had to skip, this has been the most consistent we've been podcasting wise for the past year. And we'll start dropping out. We'll probably start dropping categories for the end of the year awards within the next coming weeks. So that way you guys can get y'all votes in and stuff like that. But yeah, man. This will be interesting. Like and the reason why we're doing it early is because we gotta go back in time to see what we want to put on the category or in the for the polls, because a lot has happened in the year 2024, both in wrestling and outside of wrestling. So, hey man, hopefully you guys continue to enjoy what we dish out, and make sure you guys catch me on Thursday for the Public Enemies podcast and another episode over there. But what you got going on, my brother?
Not much, man. Potentially, possibly popping up on Sideline Guys, man. So y'all, sports lovers, man, make sure you tune in to OTS Media Co. and subscribe to all things on there. But aside from that, that's it, partner. We good.
Yeah. So other than that, make sure you guys stay tuned in, stay tapped in, and just stay locked in, and on your physical health, your mental health, as well as the show. at Gresh Unleashed Pod on YouTube. We're on the road to, I believe, 400 subscribers over there. If we haven't already passed it, I believe we're on the road to 500 subscribers. 500 subscribers over there. Make sure you guys subscribe over there. Leave a like if you're watching this over there. Download the podcast, www.gressunleashed.com. Make sure you guys just really stay safe out here, because election or not, the world continues to basically show its true form, and all you can do is just keep your head on a swivel, because you never know what's going to happen, because there's stupid people everywhere. But just know that you got two people here, as well as everybody that is tied to us, that rock with you, that love with you, that got love for you, and just want to continue to show support the best way we know how. And with that being said, you got to stay safe out here in these streets, and remember to always eat, sleep, flex, and repeat. We out, y'all. Be breezy.